Hello everyone, my name is Florina and you are listening to the podcast Business as Usual, a super unusual podcast only for those that are passionate about the business and in case you would like to hear what can a business coach do for you. In this episode, I would like to focus on the mission and vision of a coach. Now it can sound a little bit too much for you, but I will give you the reasons why I'm saying this. After 20 years spent in a career in one industry only, after having lost the connection to myself, I managed to find myself again because I felt very much incomplete. I felt something was missing. Now that missing part in my puzzle at that point of time was a connection of really understanding why we are doing the things we do. And this is something where the coaching business started, where I was looking for a coaching school. And I had the honor and the pleasure to be a student of IPEC, which is one of the best coaching schools in the world. And I am affiliated to ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. So I'm talking to you from the perspective of a professional coach. I specialized in leadership and transition coaching. And this has something to do with business at all times, because this is where is my field of expertise. Now, coaching comes from sports. If you look at a professional sport player, take your favorite one, you will know that behind that person there is one or more, or one coach or a team of coaches. The reason is that a coach is normally putting the mirror. I cannot promise you happiness, and I cannot promise you to take you from point A to bring it to point B without that you do anything. It's not the way coaching works. And you will say, Florina, okay, I understand. What is coaching about? Now, coaching is a process. And it is the process of taking someone or something. You can have a topic specifically that you want to be coached on. And it's a discussion, it's a conversation with a purpose. This is not training, this is not mentoring, this is not consultancy, and this is also not friendship. A coach is a neutral partner of discussion. I am non-judgmental because as a coach, I am not the best one to know what is best for you. You have all the answers in yourself. You might not have all the questions. And this is where I come as a coach. By addressing the questions in a space of trust at the right time with the reason and the grade of awareness that helps us both to communicate in a way that helps you get the answers to the questions. And it might sound complicated, actually it's not, and it's not therapy. A therapy and a psychologist, for example, will go with you to solve the trauma. Coaching is not a therapy. Coaching is a process that is there for the people that are driven for performance. And everyone can have a niche. I'm sure you have heard about life coach, wellness coach, divorce coach, business coach. Again, I decided for myself that the place where I want to help as a coach is in leadership, where leaders are all the people that have something to do with the others. It can be very general. You can be a leader if you have a team. You can have a management position. You may be one of the C-suite in a corporation, and then you know by default you are a leader. But not all managers are leaders, and not all leaders are managers yet. And there comes the transition. I've been working so far with people that are seeing for too long this glass ceiling of middle management. Too many people that I've been working with have stayed in positions of middle management maybe for too long in their perception, and they were ready for a change, but they didn't know how to. And there, working with a coach has helped. Because by knowing exactly why we want to reach a certain position, why we want to take a certain decision, it helps us to get the drive. And the drive is the reason of a meaningful life, is the reason why you wake up in the morning, is the reason why you decide to have a child, is the reason why you decide to retire with 50 and not with 70. It's up to you. And it's up to me to understand and to want it. The moment I started the coaching process, I am not working as a coach, I am a coach. And how I like to say, I work with winners. And it's not arrogance. I work with winners, whether you want to win time, whether you want to win your relationship, whether you want to win a position within a certain company, or whether you want to win your freedom of not feeling guilty for working a lot of hours for a reason that you don't find yourself anymore. Again, your choice. So this is about coaching. And what else? Coaching is new. I still think that it's an industry. And as all industries, it's growing to a certain place, kind of uncontrollable. Why I'm saying this is because you have a number of schools that offer coaching diplomas, that offer coaching certificates, and a coach can be somebody that had 2 weeks in a school and someone that had 1 year or 18 months or 24 months in a school. It's regulated. My suggestion is, no matter if you would like to work with me or with anyone else, and reach out to me if you want to have somebody in your area, if you are looking for some names. I have some super great colleagues with whom I'm still in contact with. Coaching is regulated by a federation, as I said, so it's called the International Coaching Federation. My suggestion is, if you are ever thinking of working with a coach, 2 things. One is, try to see that is part of this federation, because there is a code of ethics. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, as I said, but I am a coach. I will not take your information and send it somewhere else. I will not take your space of trust and make use in an improper way. And this code of ethics is a pillar for the Coaching Federation. So it's advisable that you are working with a coach that has a certification, because behind being a coach, it's a lot of hours of specific techniques, of specific processes. And even if it sounds, and it is very natural, it's not only a conversation, it's again a conversation with a purpose. And it's changing habits, it's changing attitudes, and in the end, it is changing the perspective that you have on life. Only if you want it, certainly. The second thing that I was saying is, coaching, use a coach with whom you have a chemistry. Because it's a little bit like in everything in this life, we cannot resonate with each and every one with the same frequency. Sometimes there is this spontaneity and you say, wow, it matches perfectly. Then try to work with that person, because it will be much easier for you to create this space of confidence, to create this space of trust, and it will help you and it will help the coach. I do not work with people that are only in one profession. And I do not work with people that are only connected to one industry. I'm not the one to put the limits. I'm not working on my agenda. In coaching, it is all about you. It is about what would you like to have. We understand where you start, why you got stuck, if you got stuck. And there is a reason why. You see, again, coming to sports, a number of super performant players and sport people, if they do not have the right coach, you will see it immediately in the results because it's an interconnection. Coaching works a lot on your potential. You can do a lot of things alone. I can do a lot of things alone. But the best things I'm doing is when I have also a coach. Because the coaches get coached as well. So I am a coach and a coachee at the same time. And this is also something that changes. A lot of people that you know that are around you are going and are having a coach without that you necessarily sense it. And especially in the business field, where again we put our shields and we know we are professional, we are corporate, we are performing, you would not like to hear that one or the other has a coach. Because it's confidential. There is a contract, there is an agreement in place between the person and the coach. We do the things in confidence, and this is not something that people are very much eager to talk about. Why? I don't know. I can guess, or one of the answers, in my opinion, might be vulnerability. Business and vulnerability do not work together. Because we are strong, we are superpowers, we are those that are all the time bringing the best out of light, and the shades and the shadows we are keeping for ourselves. The problem is that if you don't put them on the table, if you don't break your vulnerabilities and the unspoken, and you don't put a light on them, you will see it or you will feel it sooner or later in your performance, in your private life, in your health conditions, in your sense of restlessness. Well, that's a difficult word, right? Restlessness. When you feel that you are there but you wouldn't like to be. When you feel that you are doing something that you don't necessarily want to do. When you feel you would like to change something, but you don't know exactly why, how, and what. And this is what we are doing in coaching. And I think it's important that I explain to you a little bit, because one of the lowlights of any industry is the same thing, which it's a boomerang. Marketing is great. Sales and marketing go hand in hand. But when it's only marketing and the content is not there, you might get disappointed. Because I have seen, especially on my social media, which is in this case LinkedIn, I'm a consumer of LinkedIn, and I am a content creator on LinkedIn because I'm also writing sometimes some articles. And on LinkedIn, I have seen a number of times coaches that are promising the world, that are promising supreme happiness at any point of time, provided you work with them. It's fine. I am not judging. I am only here to tell you, yes, coaching is a changing and life-changing process as long as you are doing your job. So don't expect super results if you are not able to play full cards. Don't expect changes if you are reluctant to change. And don't expect to win if you don't want to be a winner. I think this is about coaching, in my perspective. Yes, it is life-changing. Yes, it is an industry. Yes, you might not necessarily find the right one from the beginning. But don't give up. Don't give up in looking. There are a number of very good professional people up there to help you. And let me tell you one more thing, because we are all after 2 years of pandemics, and we are all having our scratches, each and every one, sometimes more talking about it, sometimes not talking about it. This pandemic affected us all in different ways. And when I'm hearing that for therapy, there are waiting lists with hundreds of people that are looking for having a session with a psychologist, and I'm not saying that coach is therapy because it's not. I can only tell you that in business, just like in any other fields of our life, mental health is important. Mental health means staying in balance. Mental health means being vulnerable and taking finally this vulnerability and make it bravery. It takes a good portion of gut and courageous and braveness to say, I am vulnerable. Because, yes, I am a business person. And I have feelings, and I have bad days, and I have headaches, and I have divorce, losing the children, something happening to my parents, losing the grandparents like it was in my case a couple of days ago. That's life. It does not make me vulnerable. It makes me human. And when I'm human, I'm like you. And if you are human and you are like me, I will understand you. And then we do business. Again, you cannot take the human capital out of the business. And I'm talking now to you, those that are leaders, those that are having teams of people, those that are having a lot of P&L responsibility, you will know what I mean, and that you spend your life between meetings, Zooms, budgets, forecasts, providing, delivering results. We are great in doing this because business for us is a passion. But let's not forget that we are humans. Let's not forget that we need time to breathe, to sleep, to love, to show this love to those that are waiting for us every time at home when we are not there. I know how it is to lose it, and it's hurtful. But it's a learning curve. If I would have known it before, maybe it would have rung a bell for me, or maybe not. Again, you might feel that I'm talking from a space of confidence because I finally made peace with my fears. With my fear of not being good enough. With my fear of not being a good parent. With my fear of not providing enough help for my team. With my fear of not doing enough for the others. Because I feel myself also as a social responsibility, an active player of this nice place called world. It's about values. It might resonate with you or not. But think about your set of values. And think about your superpowers. And now think about your weak points. Because we say strengths and weakness, we say soft skills and hard skills when we talk about ourselves. The moment when our weakness will become our strength, and the moment when vulnerability will become courage, and by the way, I do like a lot Brené Brown, who's talking about vulnerability, finally, she's great. And when the moment when you talk about business without taking the human capital out of it, this place will be a better one for all of us. Good. So this is about coaching. Again, I have heard a couple of times saying, oh, great, it sounds interesting, and I'm sure there are out there a lot of people that need it, but it's not my case. So yeah, certainly. Because I can solve my problems alone, I am sure. Positive. I was also solving all the problems alone, and in the same time creating myself even more problems without even realizing it. It's a choice. But how good it is to have choices. how good it is to be able to share, to work with other people, to take something that will help us, enable us to live our life to our potential. And when I'm talking about coaching and about IPEC, I will talk about energies. And again, when we are only one energy and we show up with this energy in all the fields of life, it is up to me if I'm showing as a victim, as a frustrated person, as a cooperator, as a doer, as a go-getter, or as a visionary. It's all perspectives. I can be in a place where I feel extremely as a low energy. I cannot change anything, so I feel really beaten up by life. And in the same day, on another topic, I feel that I have a superpower. I feel I can enable the others, or I can enable myself to do something. And it's like an elevator. We are all the time fluctuating with our level of energy around these levels. And we need all of these levels of energy because we are complete and we are unique. One thing I would like to rhetorically question you, and if you want, please share with me your comments. It would be very nice to have a topic and a discussion about this, is where do you operate mainly? Do you operate in a place of fear? Do you say very often, I have to do this, I have to go there, I have to deliver this, I have to pick up the kids at school, whatever. Or in the place of want. It is my choice that I'm here doing this specific thing in this specific moment of my life. I want to spend time with you. I want to do this podcast pro bono. I mean, this is not a business. This is my free time. This is my spare time. Yes, it might help you. Yes, it might turn into something else. But at this very moment, it's a beginning. It's straight out of the comfort zone. It's straight from my heart. And finally, with 42 years old, I'm not anymore bidimensional. So it's not only head and soul, it is three. It's head, soul, and intuition. And I turn down my ego to the minimum level because it's disturbing. Because that big ego that you might have sometime as well is telling us continuously, you are not good enough. Or vice versa. If it's very loud, we'll say, you are so great. You do the right thing. Don't waste your time on the others. Keep making money. Keep staying focused on what you want. And most likely what you want are external things. And when you get them, you still feel incomplete. And then, it's a mouse rat. And you go again and again and again until you get it. Coming back to my mixer, I turn down the ego to a minimum level. So I do not hear what we call the syndrome of imposter. Like, who am I to tell these people all this about? Well, I'm no one to you, and I can be an important person to you, but this is not up to me. This is up to you. It's your choice what you do with this information. And I'm talking about choice because most of the time, when people come and start a coaching process, people come as, I have no choice but. And we are limiting our possibilities of living to our potential. So it's important. I would like to keep reminding this to you. The way we live our lives, it's a personal choice. And our personal choice is putting us in contact and in the energy of the others. If it's too much for you, I am sorry. I am talking from a place where you might not have reached yet. But I can tell you that this place where I am right now is great. It's a place where I do not care how many wrinkles I have on my face. It's a place where I do not care if I'm trembling when I'm talking from deep down. And it's a place where I do not care if a number of people outside might judge this and heavily and harshly, because it is their choice to do this, and it is my choice to share. It's a beautiful space where I'm not living only for myself. Same time, it's a beautiful space because I'm not only living for the others, so I'm not all the time extinguishing fires and problem solving. I'm a coach who is allowing you be yourself in your best version, if you want, and with my help. That's about it. So a little bit about the process, admin stuff, guys. Coaching can take anything between 3 and 6 months or 1 year. It's up to you. I normally don't do less than 3 months because it takes time that we create a space of trust. I don't work with an agenda, and most likely you won't have an agenda, but you will come with a topic and say, okay, what is all about? And then we start discovering a little bit. If there is something that is more, deeper, and where I cannot help, I will tell you who can help yourself. So I am able to understand where there is a place for therapy and where is a place of coaching. And this, again, is part of the code of ethics. I won't do something that I'm not able to. So I will not touch points where I know I cannot be of help. The process is normally, so as I said, starts from 3 months on, and then can take anything between 45 minutes and 1 hour. The way I'm working as the first session is we will run into an assessment, which is called ELI. It's an Energy Leadership Index assessment. And by the way, this is one of the top 3 assessments that Forbes is mentioning for the business people. And this can be done individually. I do prefer having coach one-on-one because this is the space where an individual is growing to the best of one's potential. I also do these ELI assessments as a trainer because I can take the energy level of the group, and I do not work with groups more than 10 people. But these are details that are only, I think it's easier if one has straight clarity from the beginning before embarking into this. And no, I'm not cutting the head, I'm not looking at your brain, I'm not doing anything. Yes, I had attended a school, a neuroscience school last year that helps me to understand a little bit what happens when the neurons are connecting or are disconnecting, and how the synapses are working. And this is something that is very helpful in the process of recognizing and changing patterns, because what we do is normally, as grown-ups, we are rewiring the brains if we want again. It's nothing that is super impossible, and it's nothing that hurts. It's nothing that is magical. It's nothing that cannot be very clearly explained. The only thing that is missing in this story is you. So if you're ready for success, if you're ready to step out of your comfort zone, if you're ready to take some steps towards your potential yourself, then coaching is for you. And if it's not for you and it might be for somebody else, why not? Share, as I said. You share the information and the world grows. You share the information and the world changes. And as we are approaching the end of this episode, one thing I would like that stays with you, if you are willing to take this, is to not be afraid of being vulnerable. It's not the easiest place to be, but it's one of the deepest places you can be. And you can take a lot of energy out of your vulnerability. As long as you are true to yourself, you recognize the values that are your pillars in life, and we all have these pillars in life. And as long as you are taking them along your way, no matter what you do, no matter in which moment of life you are. Because the pillars, the values that you are trusting, the values that you are believing in, are helping you in the darkest moments when you have no clue of what it's all about. And we start building based on these values. Thank you very much for listening to me, and there is more to come. All the best.